What's good, everybody? Dylan Spalding here with you with Auto Racing Digest. We're joined with the driver of the number 66 MBM Motorsports Ford Mustang here this weekend at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Chad Finchum. Chad, thanks so much for taking the time to talk, man. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's going to be a great day of racing down here at Homestead. Haven't been to this track since 2021, so glad to be back. Glad to be back in Miami. Got all my family here, so that's kind of a rare occasion, and just ready to get after it today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you to kind of begin with is, first time at the track since 2021, your first time in the next-gen car here at this track. So what has that been like, just learning about this car here at this Speedway? It's a little bit different than Nashville last time you drove it, so talk about that.
Man, it's a huge difference. So, first of all, I've never raced a Cup car here in general, so all my starts at Homestead have came in an Xfinity car. Let alone this is only my second time driving a next-gen car. So I think it's going to be interesting. When we were practicing and qualifying, basically just got in high gear, fifth gear, rode around to where naturally we were downshifting. But I've talked to a couple of the other drivers and went back and watched some film, and it looks like on a long run here, you actually may need to downshift into fourth in the center of the corner. So I think that's something we haven't practiced yet, and I think that that'll come in the race. So there's a lot of challenges and variables. It's a learning curve, just like learning how to ride a bike all over again. So I think the more seat time we get in this next gen car, we can just keep improving on our results. But really excited to get back after it today. And we didn't have the best qualifying effort yesterday, but we made leaps and gains from practice to qualifying, picked up over a second and a half, which is really rare in the garage. So I think we can keep gaining on it all day, and by the end of the day, I think we can put up a pretty good result. Yeah,
what has been the biggest learning challenge with this next gen car? It's so complex compared to the old generation of the car. So what has kind of been the biggest thing that you've had to kind of pick up on in these two races? Obviously, I know you haven't raced yet in the car this weekend, but I mean, what has kind of been the biggest learning challenge for you that you've had to kind of deal with?
Man, there's a lot. First of all, you're going from a traditional 15-inch style rim with a lot of sidewall that's very compliant with you to a low-profile tire. You're going from a 10 wide to a 12 wide. The 5-speed as opposed to the H pattern 4 speeds. In Xfinity car trucks, everything we drove up to this point, we've had a steering box. This is a rack and pinion, so it's much quicker. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different experience, and I don't really know how to describe or to relay what the differences are and put it in perspective, but it's a totally different car. You come out here and run an Xfinity car or a truck on a Friday or Saturday night, and you hop in a Cup car and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to relearn this track. I mean, it's that big of a difference. So I think just getting the seat time, getting the laps, building that chemistry with me and the crew chief, and just trying to establish some sort of baseline, right? Like that's what we're looking for in this next gen car, is a baseline, and once we get our baseline, then we can start building on it.
Absolutely. And then just with this track this weekend, I mean, going through practice and qualifying and seeing the grooves as well, the lines and such, it's definitely going to be a big factor this weekend, especially the high line. It seems like that's a very favorable spot for a lot of cars. So how important is it to just be able to find that rhythm and find that line in the race early on to be able to translate later on in the race this afternoon?
Well, that's huge. You need to find it as early as you can, because here's the deal. If you go out and let's say you're going to run bottom at the first part of the race, and let's say you're complaining about the car being tight, well, if you come in on pit road and you make an adjustment to address that tight issue on the bottom of the racetrack, but then when you come back out from the pits 5 or 10 laps later, let's say you moved up to the middle or the top, now your handling condition could be something totally different.
Absolutely.
So what you address could be backing you up even further. So just trying to find what groove works for your car and build on that the whole race, I think is going to be huge. But also trying to find where's the rubber going, where can we find grip, and I think you're going to see a lot of moving around, and we did do that a lot in practice yesterday. That is one thing that we focused on, was we tried every groove for our car in practice. I think the high line was the preferred line, but who knows if we'll be there all day long. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Talking about the pace of Ford this weekend, it seems like Ford may have been a little bit off compared to some of the other vehicles, though. But how do you guys feel as a group, if you will, heading into this weekend after going through practice, after going through qualifying? How's the confidence feeling heading into this weekend in terms of as a group with Ford?
Really good. I mean, we're the minority out there. We're surrounded by a lot of Chevrolets. And so they have a lot of data to help them, and what you're looking at is just like speed off the truck, right? Mm-hmm. And but I think we'll be just fine. I think everybody has all the confidence in the world that as soon as that green flag drops, within the first pit stop or two, we'll be right there.
What do you think has been the biggest change within the Cup Series that you've seen since you last made your start in 2021 with the old gen car to now? What has kind of been that big change that you have seen with the way the competition is? Obviously the car is very different, but what has kind of been that biggest change for you?
Man, the competition is stiff, right? Like, and I'm not downing any other series because competition is stiff in any series,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the Xfinity series right now is arguably tougher than it ever has been. I would almost say the same for the trucks. But you know, the biggest thing is like you come out here and you drive as hard as you can, and you're like, man, we just got a 35th place finish today,
Yeah.
you know, and you just drove your heart out. So. Just the competition level strong. These guys, like they're the elites of the elites, and just going up against them and seeing just how good they are and being able to learn from them is one of the biggest things. And just getting the opportunity to run in the Cup Series so that you can see that experience firsthand. So just being thankful to be out here, and hopefully we have a good showing today.
Yeah, how important are these opportunities in terms of just being able to earn that opportunity next? Like, how important are opportunities like these in terms of maybe leading to a potential full-time ride in the future, whether it be in Xfinity or even in Cup?
Oh, they're huge. You know, so I started my NASCAR journey in Xfinity with MBM Motorsports and Carl Long back in 2017, and that was my part-time season as a rookie. And I come on with him full-time at 18, and I was full-time 18, 19, and 20. And then post-COVID, you know, I've been part-time the last couple of years, and being able to just get the opportunities is the challenging part, right?
Yeah.
So just thankful for the opportunities that we've had this year. It's been a couple of years since I've been in a Cup car, and honestly, the amount of races that I've done this year, I don't know the number exactly off the top of my head, but it's probably, you know, ranging in that 8 to 10 mark. Honestly, that's more than we've done over the last couple of years combined. So just getting opportunities this year has been huge.
I'll close out on this. How excited are you for the future to come? Obviously, MBM Motorsports is a growing brand. They're in about everything in NASCAR, so how excited are you for the opportunities that could be coming here your way? And obviously, how excited are you to just be back here at Homestead? You mentioned that you have a lot of family here, so it's probably a pretty special weekend for you.
It is. It is. You know, with NASCAR, you're traveling all the time, right?
Yeah.
Very, very often are you not racing close to home. And, you know, usually my home races, Bristol, Nashville, you might could even throw like Charlotte, Atlanta, Darlington in the mix. You know, anything within that 4 to 5 hour radius is usually the races that my family are able to come to. Miami, you know, that's a long haul from where I'm at in Tennessee, but I'm lucky enough to have all my family here with me today and pull me on, cheer me on. So that's really exciting. Glad to be back in a Cup car. MBM, you're right, is a growing brand. You know, they've not been full time in the Cup Series since probably 2019 or 2020. And so, like I said, just establishing that baseline with this next gen car to where hopefully as we grow into next year and the season beyond that, we can start, you know, really showing what we got.
Where can people follow you, man? Tell the viewers and the listeners where they can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. All my socials, pretty simple. Just at Chad Finchum, Instagram, X, Facebook. You know where to go.
Awesome. Chad, thanks so much, man.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Can I get a